From the Mapleview Animal Hospital studios, this is the WHTC Morning News with Gary Stevens and Peg McNichol on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com.
And we welcome you back to the WHTC Morning News for this Friday, May 29th. Friday mornings at this time, we have a chance to travel Michigan with Pure Michigan's Dave Lorenz. He's on the other end of our Zoom connection. Dave, good morning and happy end of May.
Yeah, happy end of May. Typically, of course, we'd be talking about the big holiday weekend of last. I guess we can talk about the small holiday weekend. I know that it was frustrating for so many people to stay close to home this Memorial Day weekend, as we're continued to be asked and directed to stay close to home to keep other people safe. I know it was difficult for people, but I am more and more confident every day that we're getting very close to being able to open up much of the state to travel and tourism. And we actually have been directed by the governor to set up protocols for the entire travel industry. So that's what I did for my holiday weekend, is put together the structure for that. And we had a big organizing meeting yesterday of many, more than 100 travel industry experts from around the state who are providing their expertise, their knowledge, their wisdom, their insights and perspective on how we need to set up the protocols to make sure that businesses can get their workers back safely, residents can be comforted to know that there'll be expectations of both businesses, communities, and travelers to keep everybody safe. All those proposed, suggested rules of the road will be put together within days. I mean, this process has to happen fast. And luckily, our industry is very innovative, as is the rest of the state. And we've been preparing for this moment to get the directive from the governor. So I'm very thankful that we've been given this task. I can tell you that we will put these suggestions together as quickly as possible and get those to the governor's office for vetting for legal and health and OSHA reasons and all that, and for the governor's consideration, because we need to get people back to work. Just the tourism industry alone, we have about 52% of our industry out of work right now. And we need to do it in a safe manner. So we have serious people who are going to get this thing done. And I'm so appreciative for everybody's involvement.
I will mention maybe a factor that cannot be under the control of the tourism industry, Dave, and that is disposable income. Travel and tourism mostly deals with disposable income by those who are traveling and touring.
Yeah.
You can't control that, though.
So here's the interesting thing about that. Because of the timing of this horrible virus, this was the time of the year when a lot of people, unfortunately, tend to leave the state. They go to Florida, Alabama, out west, all that. And they save their money for these spring trips, and they weren't allowed to do that this year. So many of them have continued to work through this situation. They still have money in the bank, and they can't wait to get out. Like all of us, this pent-up demand, we can't wait to travel. So there's that combination of people who, many people in the state have continued to work, continue to get paid. Now think about those people who have been getting the state and federal unemployment benefits. The thing that nobody's talking about is many people in Michigan, because of our great values here, are actually making more money on unemployment right now than they would have if they had been employed during this time. So again, they have money that's being built up. They want to get back to work when they can safely do so as well. So when we get these protocols all put together, we have a residency that is going to want to get back to work, even though it would seem to benefit a lot of people to stay unemployed for a while. We're going to have most of those people get back to work. They're going to also want to get out there, and they're going to have some money in their pockets. So there's nothing good about any of this virus thing, but it's not all dire. We will get through this thing because we have a combination of all those things I talked about, and we have this this really resilient community in Michigan. As I think we've said before, Gary, to our great advantage, we have experience in getting knocked down and getting back up as a community. That's what Michigan has done. There was a time when Michigan had the highest unemployment for a long time. And we found a way to get out of it by diversifying and being innovative and finding ways to mutually benefit each other through collaboration. That's what we're doing now. We're preparing for a better future. And as difficult as it is to think right now with all these challenges, I'm telling you, there are going to be some positives that come out of this as well, because we're going to find new and better ways to get things done, more productive ways. And that future is not too far away.
Dave Lorenz of Pierre, Michigan. I'll need to ask you this question with the caveat, of course, being one of the leaders of tourism and travel. The word yesterday coming from Gwenda Werta and the Tulip Time Festival needing $1 million to continue the festival, or we're going to have to close the doors. I hope that our friends up in Traverse City aren't in the same boat as well, but certainly those are definite concerns.
Well, I came from the festival world before becoming travel director of Travel Michigan. And I can tell you from the very beginning, festivals and events have been one of those category of activities that I've been most concerned about, because I just know the way festivals operate. It's a year-to-year basis. You need underwriters. You need companies to support you. Yes, ticket sales are huge, especially for an event like Tulip Time. It's a little more important for them than it is many others because of the many ticketed events and kind of high-cost events. And most festivals don't carry pandemic insurance. Some do, to their credit. But going forward, many more will want that, but it will be more expensive. So the challenge is you have all these costs you've already committed to because contracts, require that. And the way most force majeure contracts are put together, this is not a thing where you can just basically get out of the contract. It's a long way to say, I'm not surprised, I'm concerned. But here's the other thing I know about Holland, and I know about West Michigan and the people who support Tulip Time. This is a very giving community. And people know the value of Tulip Time. It's more than just a gathering of people to have a good time. This is a celebration of culture and community. It's one of the best in the country, not just in the state. And something tells me that people like me will continue to do what they can in small and large numbers to donate. And I appreciate what you've done at WHTC to help the festival. We'll need to all come together to make it work, because it's not just about fun. It's even not just about community engagement. It's about jobs, and it's about bringing people to the community as opening the front window of presenting the community as a great place to live, work, and play. That's what Tulip Time does. It's great for the community as a great place to live, work, and play. And I know we'll come together to help them out.
One final thing, Dave Lorenz, and I know you have great working relationships with your colleagues in other states that do similar things, trying to get people to come to the Buckeye State, the Hoosier State, Illinois, and other states, and of course also internationally as well. But sometimes private individuals sort of try to gum up the works. Indiana billboards along the state line are asking residents to think twice before entering Michigan. A northbound sign asks Indiana residents if they're sure about entering Michigan, while a southbound sign welcomes Michiganders to Indiana as a free-to-roam state. Steve Swick of Swick Broadcasting says he put up the boards in good humor to support Michiganders who have more coronavirus restrictions than Indiana, and if the signs are not politically driven, but they do add to the backlash Governor Whitmer has faced with the extension of the state's safer at-home order. Dave, you can only do so much then if individuals outside of the tourism community get involved. We have situations that Steve Swick has put together.
Yeah, well, it's funny. When I was first told about this, I knew that the state of Indiana would not have done that. It would just been a silly thing to do. And as much as we compete for the traveler for the Great Lakes area and other states, we share best practices and do all we can to help each other, because it's better for the country. And I'm actually the vice chair of the National Council of State Travel Directors, and we've been meeting on a regular basis. I'm also the chair of the Great Lakes International Consortium. So I've talked to Indiana and such and the other travel directors about various things over the last few weeks. So I knew that wasn't them. And, everybody enjoys a little humor here and there. The problem is there is so much politics with this. We've got to get beyond this political thing, as we've talked before. People who just want to take pot shots at the governor or the president, for that matter, I have very little, patience for these people, because they don't understand the immense challenges that our leaders face. Hey, First Amendment, God bless people for complaining, but I just hope that we will take a breath, a pause before being so critical of our leaders, because you don't know what that walk is like until you've been in those shoes. Thank God I'm not in them. I'm just saying that it's not an easy task. And the more we work together, we do live in two peninsulas, but we're one pure Michigan, the faster we'll get through this thing.
By the way, I was doing a little brief investigative work while you were answering that question. Yeah. Steve Swick's broadcasting cluster is located at the home of Trine University, Angola, Indiana. Yeah. And once maybe some budgeting is done for Pure Michigan, maybe some Pure Michigan radio ads might be headed to Swick Broadcasting to sort of counter what Steve says he's doing in good humor.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We wish them the best down in Indiana as well, and in the entire country, the entire world. We'll just continue to stay and be, as some people would say, as classy as possible, to do the right thing, knowing that working together, we're going to get through this thing.
He is Dave Lorenz. He is, of course, with Pure Michigan. Our Travel Michigan segment is every Friday morning at this time. We appreciate him joining us in our Zoom conversation. The audio will be put up on our website in a little bit. The video will also be available with a link at WHTC.com. As always, David, we appreciate your thoughts. Wish you a safe weekend. Wish you well with getting things back in order, as you mentioned, with the with travel in Michigan, and look forward to chatting with you next week.
Thanks, Gary. Talk to you then.
Thank you very much. That is Dave Lorenz on Real News Now, 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.